5 shocking ways avoidants test your love without you knowing. This behavior may look like indifference or rejection, but it's not what you think, because it's actually a hidden test to see if your love is safe and enduring. When an avoidant cares about you, they don't send flowers or write love letters. They send signals wrapped in silence, disguised as distance, coded in confusion. And if you misinterpret these tests as disinterest or coldness, you might pull away or react harshly, which confirms their deepest fear, that love isn't safe, and pushes them further into emotional retreat. Their tests aren't cruel. They're cautious, built from years of believing that getting close means getting hurt. So instead of asking, "Do you love me?" they ask without words, through disappearing, through mixed signals, through strange little behaviors that feel like emotional traps. And the first one, the silent disappearance test. Right after you share something real, a laugh that lasted too long, a moment where your eyes locked a second too deep, they vanish. Not for days, not forever, just gone. A few hours, maybe a day. No explanation, no drama, just radio silence. It feels personal, like punishment. But here's the truth. They're not ghosting you. They're testing you, seeing if you'll panic, chase, demand answers, or if you'll give them space without making them pay for it. To them, your calm response is proof. Maybe this person won't suffocate me. Maybe I can breathe here. If you freak out, they feel confirmed. Closeness equals chaos. If you wait, you just pass level 1. They don't trust easily. Not because they're broken, because they've learned the hard way that opening up often leads to pain. So their second test, the emotional bait and switch. One night, they open up. Maybe they tell you about their dad walking out, or how they cried alone after failing a job interview. Something raw, real, and then boom, next day, they're back to small talk, jokes, distractions, or worse, they act like it never happened. You try to check in. "Hey, you good?" And they shrug. "Yeah, why?" It feels dismissive, like they're mocking your concern. But inside, they're holding their breath, watching, waiting. Did I overshare? Are they going to use this against me? Will they suddenly expect me to be vulnerable all the time? Your reaction tells them everything. If you push, you seemed upset yesterday, they shut down harder. If you let it be, let them come back on their own terms, that's when they start to believe. Maybe this person won't force me open. Maybe I can unfold slowly and still be loved. And then comes the one that hurts the most, the one labeled with that warning emoji for a reason, the indifference illusion. You get a promotion. You post a happy pic with friends. You mention someone flirted with you at work. And suddenly, they go cold, distant, sarcastic, maybe even a little rude. "Oh, cool, guess you're busy now." Or, "Must be nice to have so many options." It feels like jealousy, but twisted, masked as apathy. You start wondering, do they even care? Here's what's really happening. Your joy, your social success, your attention from others, it triggers their deepest insecurity. Not that you'll cheat, but that you'll realize you don't need them, that they're replaceable. So they test you by acting like they don't care, to see if you'll still choose them anyway. Will you notice their shift? Will you gently ask, "Everything okay?" Or will you match their coldness and walk away? If you stay warm despite their frost, that's the moment they whisper inside, "Maybe, just maybe, I'm safe here." The fourth test is quieter, sneakier, and most people miss it completely. The reverse care test. They'll accidentally forget something you told them to bring, or show up late when they know you're stressed, or mention offhand that their phone's dead right when you needed to reach them. It's not laziness. It's not disrespect. It's a setup, a tiny control crisis, designed to see if you'll still show up for them even when they're being less than perfect. Will you sigh and help anyway? Or will you snap, withdraw, make them feel like a burden? To an avoidant, your reaction reveals whether your love has conditions. If you get annoyed or punish them with silence, they hear, "You have to earn my care." But if you quietly fix it, tease them gently, or just say, "No big deal, I got you," that's the green light they've been waiting for. That's proof. This person won't abandon me if I mess up. That's when they start lowering the drawbridge, just an inch, because you passed the test without even knowing you were taking it. And then the final test, the one that requires them to risk everything, the apology trap. Avoidants hate admitting fault. It feels like surrender, like handing you power over them. But when they're falling for you, they'll do it anyway, awkwardly, stiffly, maybe even badly. "Sorry I didn't text back. I was just busy." Or, I didn't mean to seem distant at dinner. Sounds small, feels robotic, but inside, it's a hurricane. They're terrified you'll use this apology as leverage, that you'll say, finally, you admit it, or hold it over them later. So they watch your face, your tone, your next words. Do you soften? Do you say, it's okay, I get it? Or do you pounce? You always do this. If you respond with grace, they don't just feel forgiven, they feel safe. And that safety, that's the key that starts unlocking everything else. Because now they believe, maybe I can be imperfect and still be loved. Maybe I can be real and not be rejected. So if you're an avoidant and you felt confused, hurt, or rejected by their strange tests, pause. Look closer. Their tests aren't about pushing you away. They're about seeing if you'll stay anyway. Loving an avoidant isn't about passing every test perfectly. It's about learning their secret language, the one written in silence, hesitation, and hidden hope. They may never ask directly if you love them, but every test, that's them whispering, prove it gently. And if you do, that's when their walls begin to tremble and real love begins to bloom. If this video helped you decode their hidden signals, give it a like, subscribe for more insights on love and attachment, and share it with someone who's trying to love an avoidant without losing themselves. They don't test you because they're playing games. They test you because their heart is wired for survival, not romance. Every strange silence, every sudden cold shoulder, every awkward apology is not a power move. It's a plea wrapped in armor. Can I trust you with the parts of me I spent years hiding? And if you keep showing up calmly, consistently, without demands, something shifts inside them. Slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. You'll notice it first in the little things. They reply faster. They initiate a text not about logistics, but just to say, saw this and thought of you. They let you see them tired, or messy, or unsure. That's when you know the tests are fading, not because they decided you passed, but because they've started believing you're not going anywhere. And that belief, that's the miracle. Because for someone who equates love with danger, choosing to trust you is the bravest thing they'll ever do. What makes this so powerful and so painful is that most people never see the pattern. They think the avoidant is hot and cold, uninterested, emotionally lazy. But the truth? The avoidant is running an invisible obstacle course, with you as the finish line. Each test is a hurdle built from old wounds. Fear of suffocation, fear of abandonment, fear of being too much or not enough. And your patience, your quiet presence, that's the rope they're using to pull themselves forward. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to read their mind. You just have to stay, without pressure, without punishment, without turning their vulnerability into a weapon. When you do that, you become the exception to every rule they've ever lived by. And that's when something beautiful happens. They stop testing and start trusting. Not all at once, not with fireworks, but with a glance held a second longer. A secret shared without retreat. A hand reached for, tentatively, in the dark. So if you've been on the receiving end of these silent trials, don't give up. Don't assume indifference means disinterest. Don't mistake caution for coldness. Their love doesn't shout. It whispers. It hides in the spaces between words, in the pauses after pain, in the return after retreat. And if you learn to listen, really listen, you'll hear it. Clear as a heartbeat, steady as a promise. They may never be loud about their love, but when they love you in a way that is cautious, rare, and often very real. Just remember, their silence doesn't always mean they don't care. Sometimes it means they care too much and are still learning how to show it without shaking apart. If this video helped you decode their hidden signals, give it a like, subscribe for more insights on love and attachment, and share it with someone who's trying to love an avoidant without losing themselves.